I'm in the CEC office in Warsaw with Marek Matraszek. Hi, Marek.
Morning.
Welcome to another season of our conversations about business and politics in Poland.
Pleased to be here.
It's been an exciting summer. We haven't been here, but now we're back nearly under a month before the parliamentary election here in Poland, which is going to happen on October 13th.
Not long now.
Not long. We've been waiting for that for quite some time. And my main question to you this morning is whether we know who will win this election.
Well, it's always tricky to predict in politics, but on this occasion, I think we can, with a lot of confidence, say that Law and Justice looks to be heading for a victory. That's certainly what the opinion polls are showing. And they've been pretty consistent actually over the last couple of months. And in fact, the last couple of weeks have shown Law and Justice trending a little bit more strongly than the opposition civic coalition, as it's called. So I think it's pretty certain that Law and Justice will be back in government after October the 13th.
And now, is it easy to say that the supremacy of Law and Justice is because of their own efforts, their own following, or is it because of the inability of the opposition, or a good mix of both?
I think, as usual, it's a bit of both. In fact, it is both. Law and Justice have got a lot going for them, primarily the strength of the economy. Growth continues to grow strongly. We had 4%, I think, in the last calendar year. Unemployment is at a low. Inflation still is being managed fairly well. So, from the point of view of the ordinary Polish citizen, they've never had it so good, and that's in an election. That's a really key factor. There are other aspects of their campaign which I think have been very positive for them. They're clearly on message. They have a simple message, a straightforward message. And they can credibly say they have delivered on their promises of 4 years ago. And that's also very important in politics. On the side of the civic platform, it's a bit of a struggle because there's a Freudian slip there. I said civic platform, they're running as a civic coalition. So the identity of the opposition
and previously the European coalition.
Yeah, so the name keeps changing from election to election, which is never a good sign. They've also switched their candidate for Prime Minister. Everyone was expecting it to be Grzegorz Schetyna. Suddenly, a couple of weeks ago, they announced that it was going to be Małgorzata Kidawa-Błońska, the former Speaker of Parliament, who is their candidate for PM. So that caused a little bit of confusion. And ultimately, their messages itself is also confused. As we well known over the last few months, they have switched position on a number of issues. And actually on some issues, they seem to be cleaving to the Law and Justice message on social welfare spending. So ultimately, it's not a very successful campaign so far on the part of the civic coalition.
So looking ahead to another potential 4 years of a Law and Justice government, can we say whether it will be a continuation of what we've seen or a new shift, a new turn?
Well, I think the message of Jarosław Kaczyński, the leader of Law and Justice, has been fairly consistent. It's really more of the same, and actually more of the same, if you can put it that way. On social welfare, there are new spending promises on pensions, minimum wage, subsidies for farmers. There's a big stress on the role of the state in managing the economy. And there's a big stress on the theme of security, which is not just national security, but also economic security, but also cultural security. So that these messages are resonating very strongly with the electorate. And there's not really much shift in that message. Such a very consistent message. Where Poland will be 4 years from now is a very different question, of course, because during those 4 years, a lot can happen, particularly on the economy. And I think this is the main hope of the current opposition, which is, although many of them seem resigned to losing this election, a lot of them are actually thinking that the economy in the next 4 years may not be so favourable for Law and Justice as it is today, and their real chance for power will come in 2023. Of course, it's not just the civic coalition which are hoping that. It's also the new left alliance, which is the more left-wing party in the elections, which is actually making a lot of headway. So I think even in 2023, the civic coalition may have to have actually a coalition government if it's ever to hope of power, but that's a long time ahead.
But I will see you after the election on October 13th to discuss this further.
I hope so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Staszek.